Hello, welcome back. And here is the Huntington, free of charge, no less. But alas, it's not as good as the Folger. Um, but it's interesting nevertheless. We don't have the star chart there. That's what I was looking for. And we don't have a very good monkey's head. He seems to have turned into a laughing policeman. Um, there seems to be just too much ink. There's ink kind of flooding all over the place. Maybe that's what's filling in these holes. We've got a very sharp angle on that. Whatever that this is. So there's some value in terms of trying to have a look at some of these, of looking at the other versions that we've got. But yeah, the Folger is the one. But can I just thank the British Library, the Bodleian Library, and the Huntington for all giving me a free copy each. I gave 25, paid 25 to Bodleian and 29 to British for. I think the Aspley. I got an Aspley and a Bodleian off both of them. So if anybody is doing research at this ridiculous accuracy or detail, who wants those high resolution images, I have them. I'm sure you're okay to have them. So there. Now, I just wanted to recap what happened over the last couple of weeks. So the first thing that happened is we essentially discovered this yellow hexagon and discovered that it fits inside the red pentagon, and that this tau cross is 2/3 of the way across the width of the pyramid. Now, there's 2 points about that. First is that wow, and it really kind of wires together in a second path all of this. But it's important to mention that this is the first time that we've started doing this. This is not precise. This is wrong in 3 ways. The hexagon is not the exact size to fit at the bottom of this red pentagon and still touch the sides. It's very, very, very close. This pyramid should be a little bit higher than 51, only a teeny bit, nowhere near 52. So that's wrong. And also, this is not exactly one. This is a lie. This is not exactly 1/6 of the width of this. It's very, very close, 99.784%. So, but that's the first thing, momentous thing that happened. And then the second thing was this thing, and again, this isn't precise. Right, but so this is defined as where that line hits the triangle and where this line, this 60-degree line, so that's a 21-degree line, this is a 60-degree line, hits the circle, and then that's just the line that goes from that point to there. It just so happens that it's just 4 pixels out of 3035 off vertical, so it's 3/4 of a tenth of a degree out. So that's the first thing that's a coincidence. It's nearly vertical. And then 2 more things that it goes through these 2 points here, here and here, which are remarkable. And that forms yet another binding between north and south of the page, yet more. And it's this multiple corroboration backwards and forwards, which actually increases in my view, the validity of these objects. And then we found this, and this is actually a little bit humiliating because I'd drawn that triangle. I don't know how long ago, and I hadn't said to myself, "Well, it's a delta dot, isn't it, mate?" But it is. And then as soon as I'd done that, it took minutes to find this. I mean, I'd only recently been working on this 60-degree line. But again, in terms of sort of corroboration, I mean, that's really very sweet, because these are coincident. That vertex and that apex are coincident, but also this line here, which is actually not a vertical, but it's a defined line that goes up to the P, that connects this vertex to that apex. So it's just so good. And then finally we discovered this, which we're still investigating. So that is a 4th connection between the upper area and the lower area. There's the generation of the rule to start off with, and then there's the tau cross, the Kepler triangle, and then this business where it just so happens that this 36-degree triangle, 36, 36, 108, I think, is at the bottom here and intersects the 6. So, gosh. Now then, I've had some feedback, so I need to really make something quite clear about the lower part of this diagram, which uses pi, Pythagoras and phi. Now I've got the tau cross on there and this pyramid, but essentially everything there, these green, blue, red and yellow lines are all the original discovery of Alan Green's. Now these values here, Pythagoras and phi, and this quotation from Kepler, I'm pretty sure that the Freemasons actually quote it. If you put that phrase into a search engine, you will get the Freemasons back at you. So, I think there's a very, very strong argument for why these are. Can you tell that how can you tell that's pi? Well, I can't unless I've got a narrative around it and that builds it up. You just cannot tell just from what the tangent of these things are. Now, there's been a whole stack of things which the original discoverer has attributed onto this diagram, right? And the first two are the latitude and longitude of Giza and the precise angle of the slope of the Pyramid of Giza. Now, with respect, I know that I am the only person in Christendom that has put that point and that point as coordinates in a pixel matrix and generated the diagram. And I know that because until you do that, you don't find out that the ASCII dot is in the wrong place. If you just drag out circles and if you play around with transparencies, you will not find this. Now, with respect, because I doubt very much whether or not anybody else went through that work and actually added it up, I don't get either of those. Now, there's a Fibonacci and a Tribonacci number. The Tribonacci is actually nearer than the Fibonacci, even though that one's slightly more difficult to work out. But it's this same thing, well, what's the reason for that? Multiple roots dotted all over the show, not in any particular pattern. And the point about the square roots and this golden ratio is that anybody with, any student of John Dee knows just looking at this, that through Pythagoras, that these things can't be true. They may be similar, but they're clearly not definitive, these square roots. E and E minus 1 aren't quite as bonkers as it sounds, and it took me on an interesting adventure looking at the evolution of both compound interest and logs, which are happening right now. It's a fascinating, point in history, but I know that they're not there, largely actually because they don't fit the model. But yeah, they are a bit stupid. But then we have Brunn's constants. Now, Brunn's constant cannot happen. Right, let me explain. These are all the prime numbers out of the odd number sets, right? And those are all the prime number pairs. This is when I get a prime number, and then obviously get an even number afterwards, and then I get a prime number again, right? So, what this guy, Viggo Brunn, managed to prove was that if he adds the reciprocals, the one-overs, of just the stuff that's underlined, that he will be able to add that up for infinity, if you like, add as many of those as you want as possible, and it will converge to a number. It won't zoom off to infinity. This is what mathematicians like to do. Yeah, let me introduce you to a mathematician. Here's Zeno, and he's trying to find the difference between the ladies and the gents, as we can see, and everybody's trying to spend a drachma or an obol, I think it is, and everybody's saying the gents is on the left. He's trying to find truth and false. Now, famously, Zeno worked out that, was troubled by the fact that you could add a half plus a quarter plus an 8 plus a 16th, etc., and you'll never get to 1. As much of that as you want, right? But there are other sequences, add a half plus a third plus a quarter, and it's trivial to prove that will just carry on forever and ever. Whatever number you pick, I can always beat you. And then there are other ones that converge. This is Euler's pi sequence. Now, for Brunn's number, it is extremely difficult to work out. Right, the first 100,000 prime pair reciprocals are available on the internet for people like me to just add up. So that's actually 200,000 numbers, 200,000 reciprocals. And if you add all those up, and your computer won't take very long, you get to 1.744. We're trying to get to 1.9. Right? We've just added, getting on for 250,000 numbers together, and we're nowhere near. We're not even, barely 10%, 90% of the number. Now, a nice guy called Ray Knightley, who alas has left us now, but has got some glowing obituaries. He was a very loved man, and he very famously noticed that his Pentium processor didn't seem to be feeling very well, and was giving him the wrong numbers, and so ensued an hilarious scandal with Intel. It cost them a lot of money. Now, just to put it into perspective, just how difficult it is to get this number to converge, we've got pi and e to so many numbers that if you set it to 9 point, by my calculations, you can go all the way to Mars, Venus, or Mercury, and back again in their current locations in the solar system. If you do that with Brunn, you'll get 1¼ inches, right? So that gives you some kind of handle on how problematic this number is. Right? There is no way this number is turning up in 1600. Right, it's just an accident, and you can say, well, that's your pi and your fire accidents. Well, that's different. A, they've got them in that area, and B, it fits with the model. It fits with what the Masons we've got text of them talking to each other. So I'm afraid all that stuff is not on there, and in my opinion, which I'm putting fairly strongly, you do your subject great harm by bringing this stuff up. You may as well have just said, my name's Eric von Daniken. There is no, from what I can see on this diagram, there is no intimate, special, secret knowledge of the pyramids other than their angle, which has been public domain knowledge for, I think, about 2,000 years. And there is definitely no maths from the future, because there can't be, because that's silly. So what I was concerned about is I put this out, somebody thought this was a pyramid. Oh, you're doing pyramids. I've seen that other guy doing pyramids. This is not a pyramid. Right? We will not be doing any geometry on here. We will not be dragging this pyramid out and trying to draw lines within here and nonsense within that. We will be trying to find patterns and numbers that are in each of these cells is one of the sonnets. People have got little bits of this already. My first thing is to just collate what people have done already with things like the catchwords, etc., and start to make a model. But once we've got it in the computer, effectively on a spreadsheet, and I've got programs, at least some of them, that are running this. We've got a framework then where I can take new stuff and we can test it and hopefully drill this down, and over the course of the year get the thing nailed. Right, what's this all about? Just these S's. So I've got 3 S's here, and I've also got 3 S's there as the 3 S's that comprise the smaller pentagram. And I've also got 3 S's there, which are the 3 S's that sit on, the points sit on them. On these two, the lines go through the S, but here they don't. So I'm desperately trying to turn that into a 3. I have no way of turning that into a 3. Now, the reason I'm trying to do this, other than looking for 3s, is because on the end of these 2 S's, I've got these blurry things here, right, which that's a zigzag and that's a zig, and they look like triangles on a line. I don't know what it is. If anybody's seen any of that in some Rosicrucian book, but these are deliberate. They do mean something. I've just no clue what they mean. They're the little marks on the end of the S's. So there's that. And then, right, so finally, in terms of this kind of cleanup, right, this is kind of all we've got left. I've just put the three ends on there because I think the three ends are, are a little family. This business with the R I don't like. I don't like this, go up here and jump over here. There may be more geometry around that R. But what I'm really bothered about is this B. Now, I'm quite certain that B is there. I should have put the construction lines on it. That's line down the back of the B, and that yellow line there cut exactly at the point of the baseline that goes through all the dots. I'm absolutely certain that is a dot. What the hell is the B doing? I've got no use for it. Now we've got two dirty great big triangles. We've got the pyramid, of course, and then we've got our Kepler triangle. So whether or not there's another dirty great big triangle, I thought that if I went vertically up here, I would hit that H, but I don't. I was convinced. I was laughing because I was certain it goes on the inside of the H, not the outside. So it didn't really score. But also, I've got three lowercase i's, and two of them have been adorned. They've got construction lines going straight through them, and this one's got an I down the back. That one's also got in theory, I guess, is at 23 degrees, but I've got a line on that. But I've got three lowercase letter i's, and two of them I've been mucked around with. I want that to be in a geometry. Can't see anything, but we're not doing too bad in terms of what's left. Now I've put the three eyeless E's on. I don't think they're part of the geometry, but I'm just really fascinated by them. The last one is a fish, I'm quite sure. Somebody tell me what the three eyeless E's mean. Right now, that is a representation of our diagram with our vesica piscis in the middle, and I've put the triple tau on there. Got these nice soft colourings. Now, so those are those. We've got the girl at the top, and we've got 6 at the bottom. And then this thing I call the or point, because it says or there, and that's why I tend to draw those in yellow. I don't know what kind of special significance that has, but I know you all go on about gold and or a bit. Now I shouldn't do this, but I am fairly sure that we've got 3 Masonic columns, but I just thought I'd map that onto there. And on the Kabbalah, it's got a triangle, so I put that triangle on there. That's a bit naughty of me, I'm just bullshitting, but that said, I would like someone to explain to me in some nice way what these 3 are that we've discovered, because we're pretty certain this is the front door of the Masons. And finally, just a wee thing, this is one of my favourites. So this is nothing to do with the sonnets. If you've just come in, this is Francis Mears and Tamis Palladius or something. And the first mention of Shakespeare outside of 2 quartos that were published is in this book. I don't think that's the very first. I think there are 9 Shakespeares in this book, but this is just pristine. You should check out Francis Mears' New from War, or look at, or better still, find Roger Strittmatter's analysis of this. But I want to know what these question marks are. Can you just give me one word, please, for that, just so that I can fill it in, because it's so good. That's about it. I do recommend John Anthony, and in fact, in terms of the kind of lexical side of all this, let's go back to a picture of it all. I'm now completely out of my depth, so I defer to the rest of you in trying to make some interpretation of what's going on. I will obviously watch avidly, and as I say, what I'm going to try and put my mind to is creating a structure by which we can start trying to solve the riddle of the Sonnets text themselves. Okay. More news as we get it.